And in 46 years of being a pastor, I love being around students, but I got a confession to make. It was always a struggle for me when the students and kids were dismissed and they ran out with such glee. Can't wait to get out of here. Don't make us listen. Well, I'm obviously not Pastor Chris. If you're a guest with us this morning, let me tell you something. I'll give you a little inside information here. If you want to be part of a church that has a pastor that you know will absolutely love you, this is one of those churches. So come on back when Pastor Chris is back. He's away for the first time holding a brand new grandchild. Grandchildren, by the way, are God's best invention, I think. And second best is Sicilians, but we don't need to go there, you know. So imagine my joy when I have Sicilian grandchildren. It's a double blessing. And then Pastor Eric, it's a great weekend for our pastors because Pastor Chris is meeting a new grandchild, and Pastor Eric his daughter got married this weekend, so that's a great joy. He got a new son-in-law. He lost a tax deduction, but he got a new son-in-law. I mean, come on. We've been in this preaching series called The Cup of Our Salvation. And what Pastor Chris has been doing in this, we had Easter Sunday, and then his thinking was, let's not just stop with the Easter celebration on Sunday. We're going to have a few more weeks of Eastertide, Easter time blessing. And so he's weaving these things together. So the Exodus and God's redemption of his people when he freed them from their slavery in Egypt, and Passion Week, the week leading up to and then including Easter, and then Easter celebration of resurrection. And he's knitting those things together, and the common theme there is redemption. You have heard him reference the cup of redemption, and he's dipped into the Exodus story, the communion narrative, and of course, in response to the celebration of resurrection, all of which contribute to this idea of redemption. Redemption's the theme. And he's asked me if I'll continue with that idea. I'll start by saying something that's a second confession, I guess. I have a problem with the word awesome. And my problem is actually about the overuse of the word awesome. I mean, it just strikes me as wrong. It brings out my judgmental side. It strikes me as wrong, that something wrong with it, singing in worship about the awesomeness of God. Our God is an awesome God. And my heart starts swelling. There's something wrong. It makes me scratch my head that we can sing about the awesome God on Sunday morning and then go to lunch afterward and talk about the awesome parking spot we got. Like something's just not adding up for me. You know what I'm talking about? I have a problem with the word awesome. It's become so familiar that it's lost its depth. That word should be reserved. It should be special. You should only go to the closet to get that word out every once in a while because we overuse it. We use it so flippantly that if we're not careful, it loses its true sense, its true depth, its true power, its true impact. Likewise, when we're made aware over and over again of something that's truly awesome, like the theme today, redemption. Sunday after Sunday, being reminded of God the Redeemer, of all he's done to redeem, and we should be reminded regularly of that because that's good news. But if we're not careful, and we're reminded about that so often, if we're not careful, the familiarity of that deep, wonderful, powerful, life and world-changing concept can also, it can be robbed of its awe. Awe is a special word. Awesome. Like awe, like it floors you. It blows your mind. It fries your wires. It's other. Awe. Exodus 6 is the text that Chris asked me to use as a foundational theme. I'm not going to exegete that text. I'm not going to unpack that completely, but it's the foundational theme. Listen to what's said again. I am the Lord speaking to captive Israel. And by the way, it's not a big leap to say he's speaking that to captive Israel, and he would speak it today to captive humans who are owned and enslaved to whatever it is that enslaves us. I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves to them. And I will, here we go, redeem you with an outstretched arm, with a mighty axe of judgment. This is the Lord's message to us over and over again, isn't it? I will redeem you. Whatever it is that's been thrown at you, I will redeem. As we've been reminded over and over again during this series, God loves to redeem. That's the whole point of this series. But be careful, because in hearing that message over and over again, and we should hear it over and over again, don't get me wrong, but we have to work hard to make sure that in hearing that wonderful, powerful, changing message over and over again, we don't allow it to be robbed of its sense of awe. God loves to redeem. He loves to build spectacular mountains out of salvaged lumber. He's all about redemption. Redeeming who and what he created. All he created, everyone he created. He loves to redeem. And you might even say, he's about redemption. That's all he's about. When you think about it, every message really points back to his longing and his intention and his plan to redeem, to make something good out of whatever the something is, good or bad. But one problem, as I said, with being reminded Sunday after Sunday that God loves to redeem us through his mercy, and I combine those two in this message, redemptive mercy. One of the problems is the fact that if we're not careful, hearing it so often can diminish our appreciation for just how expansive, expensive, and inexhaustible his redemptive mercy actually is. That's the challenge. And how far he'll actually go to offer it. That's why I entitled this message, Redemption. Just how far will God go? Pretty far. So make no mistake. Now, it's important to connect these two things. God's objective is redemption, but his means is mercy. In other words, he longs for redemption, and the way he's going to get us there is through his mercy. Thus, the idea of redemptive mercy. Those always are tied together. Redemption is always and only the result of extravagant, unrestricted, truly awesome mercy. Mercy, 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 mercy. Man, bad decisions have consequences of their own, enough to fill our pockets. Our choices don't need God piling on to, and they certainly don't need the church piling on. God is about redemption and mercy, and his church should be about redemption and mercy. Not dismissal, but okay, that's where we are, that's what you chose, that's what we did, here's the church. We're about the same thing God is about. We're obsessed with the same thing that obsesses God, making something good out of something not so good. Finding freedom for you in your slavery. Redemption, redemption, redemption by means of redemptive mercy. How far will God take that? Pretty far. Now, I'm pulling these concepts together, these moments together. So the redemption of Israel from slavery, and then a parallel theme, the redemption of God's creation from the slavery that holds it down, and we experience that and represent that and replicate it, really, our experience of it in communion. And the idea of resurrection, boom, death is defeated, the ultimate thing that holds us down and holds us in slavery, all reversed. I want to go back to Passion Week. And Jesus on the cross, the words of Jesus from the cross, particularly in Luke 23. He says a few things from the cross, but one of the most well-known, often rehearsed statements from the cross is one all of us know. No matter whether you're a follower of Christ or not, you probably know that he said this from the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. In other words, Father, forgive them. They don't understand the true import, the true effect of what they're doing. He's not saying what you do doesn't matter, you're just off the hook automatically. But he's representing his heart of forgiveness, his heart of redemptive mercy. He wants redemption. He wants it so badly, he'll go so far to see it that even on the cross, he prays that prayer. And the question arises, upon whom is he focusing? Who's he looking at when he prays that prayer? And I want to argue that there are at least two groups of people he's praying for when he prays that prayer. The first is obvious. The focus of that prayer is, first of all, and here's my first point, he's praying for those who were there doing what they should not have been doing. His persecutors, his assassins, his murderers, the ones carrying out what they argued was justice, but it was actually a great injustice. Father, forgive them, for they don't really understand what they're doing. He's praying that for the people that are